Hello, I'm Paul Garcia from the University of Kansas, and I'd like to introduce my two colleagues, Professor Kelly Moser from Mississippi State University and Professor Patricia Davis Wiley from the University of Tennessee. Our topic today is an overview of our study, Facing Reality, a survey of methods instructors' perspectives on world language teacher development. It will appear in the spring 2019 issue of Foreign Language Annals. As methods instructors, we, and many others, have often asked, what happens next? What will the future of world language teacher development be like? Who will be teaching pre-service teachers? What kinds of training do the methods instructors themselves need? So in order to help answer such questions as these, we developed an investigative survey in the winter of 2018. And as you see on the second slide, throughout our research, we were continually reminded and mindful that education in the United States continues in crisis. For our profession, foremost is the shortage of teachers and concurrently the program reductions that beset us. Evidence exists that many teacher education programs have been eliminated due to fiscal constraints, and lamentably, so have language departments. Added to this sobering news of program closures are matters of significance, matters of maintaining professional standards, managing the introduction of new languages to schools, and the regrettable reality that there are fewer language majors who are interested in becoming teachers. So, funding shortages beget cutbacks and program closures, as well as reducing the chances for such activities as introducing a new language into the curriculum, or extending a language program, or adding an immersion strand or a dual language strand in primary schools. In the future, where will these teachers who we need come from? We simply do not know. And to understand what the future might be or might not be, we undertook this nationwide survey of methods instructors. And we are grateful for the many responses we received from colleagues across the country, because knowing our current condition is important for the profession to build on, repair, and determine appropriate courses of action for tomorrow's world language programs in the pre-K-12 sector. Patty, please tell us a bit about the survey before we discuss specific aspects.
In order to investigate this crisis in world language teacher development, we created and conducted a national Qualtrics survey consisting of 62 questions of multiple choice and open-ended options. Of the 164 world language methods instructors who responded to our survey, the majority, 81.2%, were female, fell within the age range of 41 to 50, had 11 to 20 years of full-time teaching experience, taught primarily in grades 9 through 12, and in addition, over 70% held world language teaching licensure. The languages taught by the methods instructors in our survey, controlled by frequency of language taught, were Spanish, French, German, Portuguese, classics, Italian, Japanese, Chinese, and others. We also took a look at how many of them had former English language training, and there were 57.9% of the respondents who had. Additionally, memberships in state, national, regional organizations in world language education were the following. 80.5% belonged to their state organization, 71.3% belonged to ACTFL, and 50% belonged to the respective AATs. Now that we've taken a look at the demographics of our participants, let's take a look at research question 1. What is the current status of world language teacher development? Taking a look at the student composition of the world language methods classes, we can see in this table that the mean percentage of students in these particular classes consisted of the following. 48.3% were undergraduate students seeking world language licensure, followed by graduate students seeking world language licensure either through an alternative route or through departments of languages and literatures. We then looked a little bit closer at the student composition and found out that the language focus for these methods classes primarily catered to all languages, 68.1%, and not just one language, which would have been only 14.9% of the respondents' responses. 17% of the total composition, student composition of the methods classes catered toward both world languages and ELs. When we took a look at the class size of the methods instructors' methods classes in the past 5 to 7 years, we found out that 44.7% had 5 to 10 students in the methods class, and 14.2% had less than 5%. When we asked the methods instructors some of the concerns that they had for the profession, in order, the top 3 were world language teacher shortage, lack of respect for the teaching profession, and lack of interest in becoming a teacher. We then asked the methods instructors their perceptions regarding external support structures that they had, and they subsequently reported that for the most part, state and regional organizations, district supervisors, world language teacher conferences, professional organizations, and development opportunities were geared primarily not toward them as methods instructors, but rather toward teacher candidates and cooperating teachers. Lastly, second to the last rather, when we asked the methods instructors about their perceptions regarding the assessment of their teacher candidates vis-a-vis skill sets indicative of being a successful world language teacher, the methods instructors reported that their teacher candidates were above average in language skills, knowledge of students and their needs, classroom management, and assessment practices. Lastly, we asked the methods instructors' perceptions of whether or not current teacher preparation models were outdated or not. 56% reported the models were not outdated. 44% reported yes, they were. Kelly, would you like to discuss the results of research question 2?
Thank you, Patty. Our second research question that you see on the screen allowed us to explore the challenges that methods instructors perceived within their own contexts. Data revealed that more than half of methods instructors did not serve as the supervisor of candidates in the field. This had 2 major consequences. First, they were often unaware of who fulfilled this duty when they did not. And second, their limited involvement created few opportunities for interactions with cooperating teachers in the classroom. A second challenge in world language teacher development reported by methods instructors was related to departmental fragmentation. Specifically, a separation between faculty and departments of languages and departments of education. This insularity created a sense of powerlessness, often a result of being assigned to one department over the other. A third challenge was related again to the limited control of methods instructors, particularly with regard to external mechanisms such as the EdTPA and ACTFL CAPE. Methods instructors suggested that these programmatic elements may reduce enrollment in world language education programs. In some cases, methods instructors felt constrained by it, EdTPA, or ACTFL CAPE that has, quote, hijacked, end quote, courses and programs. Our third research question allowed us to explore structures or relationships that might ensure success for the future world language teacher development. Methods instructors for our third research question offered several suggestions for the future. So if we take a look at the slide for our third research question, we'll be able to see several of these suggestions by our methods instructors. First, methods instructors wanted to be involved, and they suggested purposefully selecting cooperating teachers who would work with our candidates in the field. They specifically suggested that cooperating teachers needed to be the best teachers and that these teachers needed to be handpicked. Second, methods instructors recognized the role of focused world language training and coursework. Often this contradicts what is occurring in the field, where candidates may take courses in language and then literature and separate courses in education. Methods instructors specifically cited examples of courses that were designed with candidates' needs in mind. Third, they recognized the need to combat this isolation, this fragmentation that was mentioned earlier related to the second research question. And they suggested opportunities to increase collaboration between faculty in education and faculty in language departments, specifically to reach ACTFL CAPE guidelines. And the last suggestion was related to the ongoing support for cooperating teachers and teacher candidates. Methods instructors recognized that their support needed to go beyond the certification and reach out to candidates once they're in their classrooms as practicing teachers. And they also recognized that cooperating teachers had a role in their own methods classes to support candidates before they enter their classrooms. Paul, will you go ahead and tell us more about discussion and the implications of our study?
Thanks, Kelly. And if we look at the next slide, which is discussion and implications, I would like to point out 5 issues that you see on the screen. For me, the most critical item is that of the impending retirement of methods instructors. When you look at our article and check out the demographics of the methods instructors, in the next decade or so, there will be a highly significant number of retirements. When you couple that fact with program reductions, our profession gets into a greater crisis. Yes, we must talk about methods course considerations, and yes, we must talk about the implications of fragmentation that has been mentioned, and we also need to review just how our methods instructors evaluate teacher candidates. Throughout, there is a red thread, and that is that the method instructor is central to the improvement of world language teacher development. And that brings us forward to the next screen, which is the implications. And I would like you to concentrate on the 5 main features of the implications that the screen shows you. Create a national database of methods instructors. That first one is related to the last. Second, we must encourage longitudinal research. Third, and this is not new, unfortunately, this is another call for the profession acting in a unified manner to deal with the major crises of teacher shortages and pre-service dwindling enrollments. Next, we have to determine ways in which colleagues, methods instructors, and others collaborate not only within their departments and within their school districts, but beyond. We must reduce professional fragmentation. And the last item is, how do we as a profession encourage collaboration and diminish the isolation of the individual methods instructor? So there you have it. And on the next slide, our final screen, you see that we have, once again, given you the title of our research, our paper that will appear. And if you have any specific questions, you see also our email addresses. So I think this is a good time for us to stop. And we want to thank you for watching our overview. And we really look forward to seeing you at ACTFL 2019 in Washington, D.C. So this is Paul Garcia saying, thanks for watching.
Hi, Kelly Moser. Thank you.
Patty Davis Wiley, thank you, and see you in Washington, D.C.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.